Allan Aguirre with your Incorruptible 2-minute warning. All right, we're going to start off with Romans 13. Again, like we did yesterday, we got through a whole, I think, one verse, which is awesome. So we set a premise, we've set a little foundation. Everything is subject to God's sovereignty. I said subjugated or something like that yesterday, but everything is subject to God's sovereignty, and he allows what he allows. Why would he allow Satan to walk in, above, over, under the earth? Why, you would think he would be restrained, right? No, he doesn't work that way. We're the one that unleashed it. Well, let me explain that if you can figure that out for yourself. By allowing the seduction that occurred in the garden, we basically gave over the deed of the earth to Lucifer. This was already his planet, but even though this was already his planet, remember, he was cast down to this planet pre-garden. But then, right, in this occupied space called Earth, the Earth realm, God creates, I do this because I don't do this. God creates this garden and sets another being, another creature in that garden, and gives them complete dominion. We don't know how big the garden was, but apparently it was able to house all fauna, is that the word? Plants, trees, animals, water, ocean, right? Because you have whales and all that. And Adam is naming all these animals. Adam is given complete dominion over this realm. That upset the enemy. How would you like somebody to move into your space and be given everything you wanted that you wanted to take that wasn't given to you, right? Because he wasn't cooperating with what his place was. Talking about Lucifer. And then Adam shows up. Okay, so and then when the seduction occurred with Eve and the eating of the fruit, eating from the tree of knowledge, that submission, that we relinquished our spiritual authority, we died spiritually, and then to keep us from being able to eat from the tree of life and be immortal, because now we know the difference between good and evil, and now they're like us now, I think is what it says in Genesis, knowing the difference between good and evil. We weren't supposed to be, God didn't want us to have to deal with that, which is pretty rad. But we screwed up. But God knew we were going to screw up because now we have, right, the Passover lamb. Why do I keep saying right? The Passover lamb slain before the foundation of the world. So he created a way for us to return before we fell. And then we're cast out of the garden to keep us from being able to eat from the tree of life and live eternally. And so there's an angel there with a sword spinning around. Okay, so that's why I say, even though Lucifer is running the show, he's running it underneath the sovereignty of God. He's only, right? See, I said it again. When he wanted to, he was allowed to tempt Job, but not to kill him. So God allows certain things to occur. They're cause and effect based on us, not him. A lot of people want to believe that, oh, God created evil. If God created everything, then he also created evil, and he allows all these horrible, evil things to happen in this earth realm, and it's on him. No, everything was fine until we disobeyed. There's consequences to disobedience. Okay, so that's what's going on. So even though Lucifer is running the kingdoms of the earth, and they're his to give to whomever he wishes, it's all done underneath the sovereignty of God. Okay, hopefully that made sense to you. Makes total sense to me. Submission to the authorities. Verse 1, chapter 13. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Unless, of course, elections are stolen. And that happens a lot in the third world. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. Jumping over to Complete Jewish Bible, verse 3. For rulers are no terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you like to be unafraid of the person in authority? Then simply do what is good and you will win his approval. I immediately think of those various YouTube videos or reels that you can see out there where they cry foul, injustice, the cops are bad, injustice. Well, no, a lot of the time the video shows that the person was not compliant with the ruling authority, the officer's instructions. And they were like actually doing the exact opposite of what the cops were saying, and then it goes bad. Well, if you cooperate and don't reach for weapons or run or whatever it is that you do, yeah. Verse 4, for he is God's servant, this ruling authority, this person in authority, for your good. Cross-reference is 2 Chronicles 19:6. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. That was verse 4, English Standard Version. All right, here we go. Therefore, one must be in subjection, the Complete Jewish Bible, another reason to obey, not only to avoid God's wrath, but also for the sake of conscience. Verse 6, jumping over to Complete Jewish Bible. This is also why you pay taxes.
The views and opinions expressed during our broadcasts are solely those of the broadcast producers, hosts, and/or guests, etc., and are not necessarily the views or opinions of the Travelog Network, its sponsors, or affiliates.